Start recording again. So here is the portal, right? Let's go over this. YouTube, we've already went over, but if you wanted to add a campaign, what's your campaign name? I put in a campaign name. It would be my client's name usually, because I'm trying to keep track of everybody I'm doing it for. I use, depending on, if I'll create a category, if I have multiple videos going on for multiple clients, what's the URL? The URL is simply the YouTube URL. It's like, just go to YouTube. If it was, whatever video, you choose it. In my case, let's say, for example, I'll go to my channel and I'll pick a video of, let's say I wanted to do this one. Just for instance, if I wanted to do the one I did of Ted Kabutis, I take this URL here and I would drop it in here. What link is in the description? Do I have any links in my description? Not on this one, because this is just a pure interview, but let's say like CTR Manipulation. Yeah, I showed you all this yesterday. Here's the link I would want them going to. These are just other YouTube channels. Drop that in here. What comments do I want them to generate? I probably put, let's say, 5 or 6 in there, because you could put in more. In how do you generate them? Use a spin bot, something that spins them. You get a spin bot and literally just spin them. You go here, spin bot, put them in here. It will rewrite them down here. You copy them and you paste them in here. It's really that simple, because what you don't want happening, give me 1 second. So after you got your spin here, your spin text, let's say it's William CTR is great. Chris is the man. Levy, let's get this. CTR. And I always use these same keywords in it regardless. And then let's say you spin it. Whenever you spin it down here, am I a bot? No, I'm not a bot. Go. And it's going to spin the text down here, and it rewrites it, the best it can. Sometimes it doesn't do that great of a job. Like this one didn't do too good, so I'll rewrite it myself. But what you don't want when you're setting up your CTRs, you don't want the same comments going on and on and on. You can. It's, you could change it up some. What keywords are you wanting to rank for? I put them in here, then I put a comma or, CTR manipulation, stuff like that. I only put like a handful, because I only put usually about 4. Check off my like, I check off my subscribe, share, add to favorite, save, and auto rerun sometimes, but mainly just these top 4 to 5. All right, playback speed's normal. Desktop device, I always choose random. How many views I want to generate. Right now I'm trying to break it, because I'm literally going on one video. I just went 1,000. I didn't do any, hey, let me just do it slow and steady. Just put 1,000 on it. I don't do drip campaign. Drip campaign means how many views you want to generate. Is it random? Yes. Do you want to do it daily? From what time to what time? And we'll go over that in my next one. I don't do drips on this one, but this is where you can do drip. Drip means you want to put it all out at one time and shoot it all down, or you want to do it over a period of time, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, 28 days, however long you want to do it. All right. Now let me go to, for example, GMB Viper. GMB Vipers, I do a little bit different. I run 30 campaigns all at one time. So every one of them, I'll have running. It'll go through some stuff and it'll run some or whatever. How do we set up campaigns here? We go add a campaign. And I name it according to the client, whatever client it is, because I have to keep everything organized because we got a bunch of them. Do I want a category? I don't really even use this part unless I feel like I want to run the campaign for a specific client. I want to keep track of it. What's the website URL? Well, this is a GMB. How you're going to get that URL, for example, let's go painter near me, Florida. All right. And let's see if we get one here, like Florida painting and design. This is this one right here. Let me go back out. So Florida painter near me. There's other ways of doing it, but let's click on this, see if I can get them to work. What you need is you need one that says, for example, if you go into your URLs, I can pull mine up. Let me pull some of mine up instead of using someone else's. What you need is the appointment link. So if you get the appointment link, that's what you got to use. So you go to info. Come on, baby. So this is the appointment link right here. That's what you need to pull, not just the website link, but the appointment link. And I take that and then I drop that into the website URL. You know, the GMB URL. What's the GMB URL? You know, this is where I pull my GMB URL. So how am I going to pull my GMB URL, for example? Let's do this one. Any questions, put them in chat. Once I get through this one, I'll answer those. So let's say it was this one right here. And this is my GMB URL, what I'm going to use personally. Copy it. I add it to the campaign right here. What's their phone number? I enter in that information. What's their business name? How many visitors I want to send? This part I went over yesterday. Up to 4 keywords is the only thing I put in. I don't put in any more. Sometimes I only put in 1 keyword, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. Minimum minutes on the website is 2. If I send them to them, I want them to stay on there for about 2 minutes, because otherwise you're going to have a high bounce rate, which is not what you want. You don't want a high bounce rate. You want a low bounce rate. Okay, what country, what city, what radius, how far out do you want it to go? You know, because you want to keep this localized around the business. Do you want to drip it? In this case, yes. You know, most of the time I'll drip it from what day to what day, sometimes 1 week, 2 weeks, you know, because like I told you, I'll rotate. But let's say you only had 4 clients that you're doing CTR on. You could do it a full 30 days and just run it for the full 30 days. I always click off make this campaign evergreen. What does that mean? It means once it's done, it can restart it back up. Okay. That's only, I never click this Mach 25. Basically, Mach 25, think of it this way, it's going to send just a huge amount of traffic at one point, at one time, as fast as possible. That's the only way I can explain that part. Another thing that most people mess up on is this part right here. Instead of putting 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 p.m., they'll put 12, you know, they don't do it right. They wind up putting, let's say, 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. They'll put, you know, if you're going to put something 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., but 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. This is something Michael has went over extensively. And in the back end of the group, you'll see it a lot. If ever you're having an issue on top of it, I tell people all the time, go to Facebook, go to his Viper tools, and he always puts up here in announcements, you know, or he'll put in files, or he'll put in, he'll post things up here at the very top, and you'll see them usually where it's a video if someone's having an issue, and he'll put it out immediately. Okay. And their walkthroughs. But this group is like your friend, you know, and this is why I tell people all the time, if they can't find something, go in here. He gives you different things to go over. So that's one aspect. I would tell you definitely keep going into this group and learn as much as you can, because there are lots of people in here besides, you know, people like Chris or Michael or Merlino and Brent that can answer, on top of the fact that Michael can answer as well. But Michael's only one individual. But so keep that in mind when you're setting these up, because a lot of times people say, well, I'm not getting any views to my campaigns. And almost 99% of the time, it's because they got this time issue. They don't have it 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. If you have any questions on that, just let me know. Let me go back out of here. Now we're going to go to Google Search Viper, all right? Google Traffic. Very similar. Like Brent went over, you can do the driving directions in your campaigns as well. I'll give you an example. Let's say, also, because a lot of people think this, just because there's no numbers on this one doesn't mean it's not working. I can guarantee it's working because I can go in Google Search Console and see the numbers coming in. Besides that, and the rankings changing. But let's go into this one real quick. And it's an interface issue is all I know. And I know they're working on it. But for example, I named this campaign whatever the business is. You know what, this is one of my clients versus one of my agency clients. I enter in their URL here. I'll open up chat, but I'll enter in the URL here. Give me 1 second. Question about time on site. You said 2 minutes. I typically choose 9 minutes. I don't think it's a problem. I mean, honestly, like even when we're doing web design, I try to tell people, put a video on the page, because what happens is the longer you keep someone on the page, the better. The longer someone's on the page, the better. In general, if the video of this presentation is going to be made public, please blur out the info I posted in Viper direction search. That part's not even in the video, but yes. Website, which a lot of people, I'll show you this, but you enter in your website URL or wherever you're wanting to send them. Okay. These are the keywords. I'm only focusing on one keyword. How many visitors? I'm only got 120 visitors, and I'm giving them 2 minutes on the website. Here's the URLs I want them to visit. Besides this main one, I'm having them also visit these. Blacklist. I've never used it. Don't see any purpose to it. Drip campaign. This is what I was talking about. I'm dripping it from one time to another time. And then I'm doing it from one date to another date. And then I'm doing it based upon, for instance, is it in the East Coast? Is it in, you know, the Western part of America? Is it in UK? Although I don't have too many UK clients. These then you have the geolocation and the website URLs. Okay. The geolocation is your latitude and longitude. You can do it by country and state, but I do it by latitude and longitude. Okay, how many radius? What's the radius? Let's stick around 25. All right. Then what a lot of people are not using, which you should be using, is do you have a Twitter account? You need to put that in here. What's your map CID? You can put that in here. You know, you always have to have this checked off if you're going to use non-direct search traffic, which is what this URL section is. It's non-direct search traffic. You'll put in your Twitter. You'll put in Google Documents. What is a Google Documents? Google Documents is, for example, whenever you do a G Stack or a Cloud Stack, your Google Documents is a G Stack. And I will see if I have one and I can show you. Give me 1 second. Oh. I don't see it, but there they are. Let's go. So G Stack. So G Stack is this. This is your Google Drive. This is your document. Let's say I wanted to send this traffic as well, non-direct traffic, to a Google document, right? Your Google Docs looks like this, right? And some people say, well, why would you want to send it to this? Well, for instance, Google Documents and all the Google assets, Google Drive, Google Sheets, all the stuff that you do in a GStack is high domain name authority, high trust flow. And I can send pretty much any type of backlink, any type of traffic I want to it, and it will help the rankings. And then on top of it, I have the keywords, such and such hyperlink to the main pages or location pages, service pages. And then I have all that in here. So we're going to put that link here for Google Documents. Same thing in the GStack. You got your Google Images. Okay. What's your Google site, your business site, right? So what is a Google business site? Show you that real quick. A Google site, for example, is this right here. This is a stack with a Google site where we take everything that we made and we put it all in here and we hyperlink everything. There's much more I do to my stacks than just this, but this is what a stack is. It's all your Google assets on a website. Let's put it that way. So we also take that and now we put that in here. Your Yelp listing, put your Yelp listing in here. Do you got video embeds? Put them in here. Do you got Tumblrs? Do you have Amazon? And people will be like, well, how the hell do I get in Amazon? Well, you get what we call cloud stacks. All right, what's a cloud stack? I'll show you what a cloud stack, one of the things a cloud stack is versus what we have here. Give me 1 second. All right, it's not gonna let me do it, but whatever. Let's see. Go ahead, Marcin. What's your question, bud? While I figure this thing out because it's stuck. Okay, I guess you don't have any questions, Marcin. All right, so let me go back in here. So this is my cloud stacks. Let's go, for instance, if it will let me do it, but it might not. But a cloud stack, essentially, all it does is it has it's an article, and we'll put a map embed in it with the text linked over to, if you will, your main keyword. So we're going to put that here. Tumblr is, Tumblr is a type of Web 20 type website. You can get them where they're high DAs like Michael does, and a lot of us do. Twitter is just Twitter. Hey, do you got a Twitter account, or do you have a high D, where you're using one? You put that in here. Google Maps, we already went. Google Sheet. Google Sheet is also from your high, like I already showed you on your cloud stack. And let me pull it back open, and we'll go over that one more time so you can see that one. Yep, Excel's acting up on me, so I'm not going to be able to show you that. So, but basically, when you go to Google Stack, you have all the entities of Google, which is, Publisher, Excel spreadsheet, your Google site, your Google slideshow, your Google Calendar, all that stuff. And you can use that inside of your Viper campaigns, right? So inside your Viper campaigns, you're not just wanting to go, let me only put your website URL. You can, but I would also suggest using this information, right? Another thing you can do a lot of times, and we go over this in the GMB class, is a lot of times people create backlinks. Well, what are you going to do with those backlinks after you're done with them? Let's say you've created some high DA backlinks, and then, or even citations, right? Let's say Yelp is a citation. After you've created it, are you going to send some traffic to it? Are you going, and me and Brent, I told him about this the other day. I said, really, Yelp, how you manipulate Yelp rankings is the same way you manipulate, GMB for the most part. GMB essentially is what? Fill out your description, make sure your reviews, your keywords are being used, make sure your category is correct, make sure you're posting. It's the same thing on Yelp. Yelp, what they do is, for instance, why most people get their reviews filtered and not shown is from the sheer fact they go into that Yelp listing and their information is not being posted. They're not making offers. They're not managing it. And when Yelp sees that, and yet they see reviews coming in, they go, this is probably a not legitimate person, not really a legitimate business. It's spam. So they filter them. The more information you have filled out, the more likely you're not going to have your reviews filtered, at least from my experience. Then on top of it, you can use CTR, whatever form you want to use, whether that be the hydras, micro workers, etc., to actually send traffic directly to Yelp. Now, if you don't want to use this part, the website URLs or non-direct search traffic, you can also go, for instance, check that off, and I can use my Yelp website URL here with my actual listing, whatever it is. Let me, like, for instance, we'll go here. Let's say painter Yelp, and just find a painter, random painter. Okay, best interior painters near me. It pulls it up. Let's see. All right, so it pulled up this guy right here. I could take this right here and, copy it and put his URL listing for Yelp in here. And obviously I want him to only go to this specific URL, and I could drop that in here. What keyword do I want to look for? Painter near me, Colorado. Whatever word you're trying to, keyword you're trying to rank for, set your time, set it to make it evergreen, and hit add a category. All right, let's go back. I mean, that's really Viper in essentially what it's going through. Yes, Marson. I don't know, dude. I can't hear you. You keep raising your hand. I keep asking you to talk, and then you don't talk. So I don't know if your mic's not working or what. Yes. Assuming you're fully filled out the client's Yelp listing, would traffic to the listing be more of a ranking signal to Yelp than links alone? Yes, traffic matters more than what most people think. in my opinion. You can have as many links as you want, but if no traffic is going to those links, they're worthless. You know, because a lot of people go, well, I can get, let's say, 3,000 backlinks, and you know, it doesn't work the way it used to. You know, when it started before Google Penguin, you know, and Penguin and everything, and Panda, people could come up to me and ask me, hey, I need to rank page 1. I'd tell them, say, you know, for example, it'd be 2,000 backlinks. They pay you $1,000, $2,000. You throw backlinks, and voila, they rank. Not no more. Content's number one of the biggest factors. So the more you got it filled out, the better. That's all GMB postings and information really is. It's content. It's supporting pillars to your website. Your website should be supporting whatever is on your GMB, not the other way around. And then on top of it, same thing with Yelp. Put whatever you're putting in your GMB, same information, same category, everything, and then send traffic to it.
So you're not referring to sending direct traffic to the Yelp listing itself. You're saying, so if we had links that we had bought or built or otherwise.
That's one way. No, I'm saying both. I'm saying if it's me, I would actually take this right here.
You're going to split some traffic direct to the Yelp listing, and then
Correct.
through, you might link maybe an S3 document that has your citations on it and
Correct.
send traffic through those.
Correct.
Okay.
So like, for example, when you do your Google traffic verification or Viper here, let's say we go into this campaign and we're going to start up a new campaign, you know, or I can't right now because of the sheer fact I got 30 in there, but I'd use my Yelp listing right here, the website URL, and the specific URLs I wanted to go to. I would use my Yelp again, and then I would use, let's say, my Cloud Stack. My Cloud Stack's about 7 or 8 high DA links that are linked to my main, whatever I want them linked to, my main website or supporting information, and I'll put them here. That way my traffic is going to hit all of it. And the more traffic all that has, the higher you're going to rank. Because a lot of people, what they'll do is I'll just do citations, and then if nothing is going to it, no traffic's going to it, it's not, I mean, they'll help, but it's going to help 1,000 times more if it actually has traffic going to it. Yeah. Any other questions, just drop them in there. But I would do that with very specific reasons, like Angie's List, BBB, Yelp, the high. There's only about 20 or so, if you will, citations that I would say even matter. The rest of them are really just cheesy garbage type citations. And people sell them and they buy them because most people think of SEO as just, hey, a bunch of backlinks. They don't think of it as on page and on page SEO or technical SEO. They think of SEO as just backlinks. Yeah, I assume so, Marcin. Any other questions? And then I'm going to jump into now. Next thing I want to go over. Okay, there are a couple of things that I do, and I've mentioned repetitively, that I'm going to touch on. You can use your email list to push traffic to specific pages, or in this case, specific GMB posts. Right? You can do it to specific pages or specific GMB posts. Whenever I go, and I'll show everybody, I'll try to, do you know what hot linking is? How many people know what hot linking is? One, no, one, no. Okay, show you what a hot link is. All right, this is what a hot link is. Let's say I wanted to create a new page. I'm going to show you all of this stuff. This is something I go over in my GMB course, but I'll let y'all know in on it. So I want to create a new page. Let's say I create a post, a page, whatever. I can take traffic or CTR or micro workers and send them to this post, right? I can grab the share link and send them to it. And we do that all the time, and it's very effective. Okay. The other thing I can do, which I was talking about hot linking, is most people don't do this. You can right click this image, copy it. Let's say I go in here and I go create a new post. And then I just Control V and paste that post. I can use that in my blogs. I can use that in my pages I create, etc. There are many people, because I've had people ask me, well, Google doesn't keep them but for 7 days. That's not true. And how do I know it's not true? And how do I know, well, what happens if, for example, the image gets deleted? Well, I've tested that. What happens when the image gets deleted? I've deleted the post and I went back to that same page with that same hot linked image. And guess what? That image is still there and it's still hot linked. And the reason why I want to do that is that image, when it's hot linked, is tied to that CID. The more CID information I have on my website, the better. Okay, so that's one thing I do. But specifically, you can take and send email lists to a specific post or a specific landing page, like a location page, and that will help you with your CTR. Another one, let's say you have an app where people they subscribe to an email list, or in this case, specifically an SMS, which is even better. They subscribe to your list and you send out an SMS blast, and you send that specifically to a GMB post and regarding, let's say, a special. A restaurant is running a special, buy one, get one. And then now I send it to these people and they click on it when it comes through as an SMS. And now it's showing mobile traffic in that area going to my GMB or my CID, which helps dramatically. Levy, do I put a GMB image on every page? As much as possible. When I'm setting up a website, and I even have another stack where I go into that stack, and I'm actually going to be going over that this week. It's another stack in which I have an RSS feed that has all my GMB posts on my website. I have the actual business site embedded on it. I have all types of crap embedded on that stack. I'm going over that in my GMB course this upcoming week. No one else has this GMB stack. I've yet to see one. I've been looking for a way to tie in my GMB posts for at least a year and finally figured out a way to do it. So let's see. And that's push notifications. Now, the other one I've used is, most people, they'll do a Facebook ad and they'll specifically send them to a web page. Well, that's one way of doing it. If you're going to do it for CTR, you do the same thing. I choose the location, local traffic. Why does it work? Because Facebook, I can go, what radius do I want? What niche do I want? Do I want men, women, whatever? And I choose that niche in that radius, and then I send them to my CID or my business site, whatever asset I'm trying to promote, specifically a shared post, a shared link, an offer, something like that. That I've done repetitively, which works. AdWords, I've heard people use it. I don't use it for any CTR, mainly because AdWords is expensive as shit. If you do AdWords, sometimes I've had it be a couple of pennies, that's fine when you go to do it. And if you see a keyword and it's only, to me, 10, 20 cents, no big deal. I can get a micro worker for 10, 20 cents. Now, if I go to do it and it's $1, $10, $20 for, let's say, a roofer, because most of those are about $20 a click. No, I'm not doing it. It's way too expensive. Micro workers. How many of you know what I mean by micro workers when I say micro workers? Okay. Think of micro workers as this way. I go to a platform and it's specifically called micro workers, and I'll show it to you. and I have a job and I say, hey, I need people to click, do a Google search using this term, go to this web page link or this GMB and stay on there for this specific time, click like, click share, drop a review, whatever it is, and I pay them for that action. Whatever you pay them, you make that up yourself. And that's about it. I mean, it's really essentially what it is to me. It's kind of like an Upwork platform. It's the same thing. And I'm going to show that to you real quick. This is micro workers. It's a work and earn, offer a small job. It's called micro because it's not a big job. It's just a small job. It's just a fancy way of saying small job. All right. I'm not going to go get into the SOPs and everything else of using micro workers and all that. I can get it to you if you want it. And I can actually point you in the right direction for a template, because a really good person on using micro workers is James Jernigan. He uses them a lot for his CTR that he does on his videos. So that's the other one. Now let's get into the next one. Any more questions? So just think, and there's another way. I mean, there's tons of ways of doing it. I could literally do social media posts. In social media, if you're in the States, one of the things I loved about the States, where you could go to, for instance, I'm in Jacksonville Beach, and, Swip Swap groups. And I can literally put some information and I'll put my URL and I know they're in that area. And now I got 100 people just clicked on my link. That's another way of doing it. And it don't cost you shit. You just have to really think outside the box when you're thinking of some of these things. So that's organic traffic just off of social media. I could post it in, other platforms like Instagram, but specifically Facebook groups that are local to that specific area. It's one of the things I liked about the States is you can have them down to, let's say in Jacksonville, it's Orange Park, St. Johns County, Clay County, whatever. The other one that I do that I never heard anybody mention that I've mentioned in my GMB course is, for instance, when you fill out, and this is going to be one of the last things, when you fill out a contact form and it takes you to a thank you page, most people just leave it there. It says, thank you for filling out the form. We'll be back to you in the next 72 hours. Have a great day. Right. What I actually do is I'll have my forms, once they are filled out, redirect to my GMB. That's one way. The other way is I have a thank you page, and I say, instead of it just saying, hey, thank you for filling out this information, we'll get back to you in 72 hours. I go, thank you for filling out this information. If you would like immediate assistance, please click here. And when they click there, guess what it takes them to? My GMB. That's another way of manipulating CTR traffic and manipulating and driving traffic to your, to your GMB. What you mainly want to think of is, how can I drive traffic to my GMB every way possible? There are other things you can do. You can also, on top of it, and some people don't want to do this because they say it confuses the customer or whatever. My goal really is to get the rankings. I don't give a shit how it's done, just get the rankings. For instance, when you're at the top right of your website or anywhere on your website, it has a phone number, you can redirect those to your GMB. So anytime someone clicks on that or clicks on directions, driving directions, find out how to get to our location, it goes to your GMB or goes to your maps. So how are you showing how to do the contact form, phone number? It's in the GMB class. If you've not registered to the GMB class, let me know, or just simply go to my inbox, philamrush@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link. Or if you go to my website, rankfortress.com, and go to shop, you'll see it underneath. There's only $97 for literally 3 months worth of GMB courses. It's a penny a day, basically, literally. And I give a ton more information besides some CTR in there. I give tons of stuff no one's even talked about. So anywhere else, at least some of the people I've heard, they say they don't hear none of this anywhere else. So let's see what else. I like my location page. My location pages, I could show you some of that stuff I do as well. You know, so I'll show you some of it. But if you have any questions, just let me know. You can drop them in the chat. I'm gonna open up some of these and show you. For instance, I'll give you some for instances, some stacks that I do. This is a stack I'm going to be going over in my class. No one else does this. This is very specific. Let's go over this. This is a new stack. No one else, I've yet to see it. Maybe they have, but this is a GMB stack that I made up. All right. That's the only thing I can call it. All right. If you go into this page literally has the business site embedded on it. I have all of their posts hot linked in here, and you can click on them and it will take you to them. So open like this, open link, new tab, you know, and it takes them to where it's supposed to be, you know. Then this is an RSS feed of all the GMB posts. If you were to click on it, it would actually take you to the actual GMB post, and you see the GMB posts and everything. Then I have the name, address, phone number here. Then I have the map embedded in here. There's certain things I'm doing on here that, you know, it's just a stack. It's literally the business site. It is the post. It's an RSS feed. And then it's also, you know, more information there as well.
I like that.
So it's just a way in which I can put as much GMB information on a website as possible. Another thing that I'll also do is most people create web 20s, or they create a bunch of your, if you will, your foundational backlinks. Okay. Yeah, the guy out there, Valerie's Adam, he's really cool. He's one of my biggest customers too. So
are you having to do that manually, or do you have a plugin that you built for that?
All manual. I was wanting a
Nice.
I was wanting a plugin for it, and
yeah, if you had a plugin, that'd be dope.
You would have the only reason you can is you have to change the API for every client. So I couldn't do it that way. The other thing that you can do is you go, for instance, most people create, if you will, their web 20 backlinks, their foundational links, right? And then they go, for instance, and just create them. I take all those links and I'll put them, we're starting to put them all on every single website as, if you will, a branding page. From the contact form, could you link it to the GMB phone number so it'll call the business? Yes, you could. I've never done it. I mean, that's a pretty, I might have to try that. Sounds interesting.
So is that like
no,
making it appear it came from a GMB click? Is that what she's talking about?
No, Sean.
Or, sorry,
Sean was saying, for instance, and when you hit submit, instead of just going to the thank you page, it going to immediately call. And
okay.
it would show that you received a phone call from the GMB phone number. I don't know there's a way of doing it because it's really the same phone number. It's the same phone number altogether. It's not like you have.
It would be interesting though if you could trigger it to make it look like it came from the GMB.
That's what I was saying. If you could do that, then yes, it'd be very awesome. Let me know if there's any more questions because we're going to be getting off here soon.
Yeah, I have a couple general question, William. One of them, when using the Viper, any users in the Viper group will use my session on my computer. Basically, that's what it is. And if I look at it, I'm going to be able to see stuff going around, or I'm not going to be able to see what's going on, or that's the part that I'm not sure to understand.
So from my understanding, and this is where Chris could probably clarify, because I've been using it for a short time, but from my understanding, it's basically crowdsourcing. Think of it this way. Everybody that downloads the Viper, every time they run the Viper, it builds up credits, right? And their campaigns are running your campaigns, and your campaigns are running their campaigns in those specific areas, not any other way. That's the only way I know how to explain it. And yes, I'll send you a GMB thing as well. But that's the only way I can explain it. I've had some people say, well, it's pulling my data from my computer. And no, he's not hacking into your computer. It's not pulling data from your computer. That's not how it works. I mean,
but in the eyes of Google, all the stuff going on from my computer, let's say stuff are going on for like 10 people in the Viper group. All the things happening during that period of time for those
geolocation, as far as I know.
Yeah, if you're using that, I believe that's how it's supposed to work that way, where it would make it look like they're doing the searches from whatever they put in there. If they don't have anything in there, though, I mean that was one of the things I was wondering about too, because each one of these accounts here, that you're building up, like all my accounts are fake. I mean, that's what they teach us, is to create these fake ones, and so it just makes it look like they're running those locally here, unless of course they're inputting the geo information into the campaign. That's what I was understood. But again, it doesn't. I've talked to other people with other programs as well, and with mobile proxies from like the UK. They say it doesn't matter, you know, that that traffic coming through it still works the same way in terms of Google counting it. They've been having really good success with doing it too, from, you know, other country IPs and stuff. I don't know if that's just for the mobile side of it, but that's what they're using as mobile IPs.
Yeah, and Drew's saying, yes, it's geolocation. You need to run it at all times. And Drew's, I don't know how long he's been using it, but I know Drew's been using it for a bit. How long have you been using it, Drew? Lifetime, 3 years. So yeah, geolocation, you run it at all times. It's like my computer upstairs, even right now, it's running it. I had a computer that was, let's say, 6 gig, and it kept crashing it. But the one I have upstairs, this is a gaming computer, and I have no problem running it. So 9 more questions. This version is working. The experimental years were no, no bueno. Yeah, it's true. It's like when things first come out, you gotta get all the kinks and everything out. So I'm just excited to be on board, and actually it works, because I've tried the other ones like CTR Booster. A lot of people approach me about that. It works as long as you have good proxies. If you don't have good proxies, then it's shit. And by good proxies, I mean, are you using residential proxies or turn and burn proxies? Are you using proxies from a data center that Google already goes, oh, anything coming from this data center is crap, and it's spam usually. So I'm going to go ahead and get off here, guys. If you ain't got no more questions, it's been good with you, and I will see you again tomorrow. It's going to be me and Michael Merlino doing a Q&A. So if you have questions, list out all your questions, and we'll go over everything tomorrow.
All right.
All right. See y'all later.
Thank you.